matter what you do, you can never defeat me!
Hi, I'm Bobso, the Odor Weeb,
And I'm Red, the bald headed wonder.
and we are the Anime Boys.
The anime boys. Let's hit it.
The Anime Boys. I'm tired from work. I got to meet some monster, and I'm excited for us to talk about the second half of Mob Psycho 100 Season
Oh,
2.
buddy, I don't think
What
you're
about
the
you, Red?
only one. Like, I'm ready.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, same stands. You haven't watched it. We recommend you do watch it.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to mention we did reach a milestone on the channel. We've reached 1,000 total channel views
Heck yeah.
over the past week,
That is
and
really,
that's pretty
really awesome.
awesome.
That's very awesome. That's very awesome to
We're
hear.
only this channel is only a few months old,
Yeah, I
and we
know.
already hit 1,000 total views.
Man,
That's sick. That's really good.
it's really cool. Like, we really, really
Hmm.
appreciate everything that you guys
Yeah,
are just. I mean, even if you're not subbed, we always do appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Um,
yeah,
Now, if you do like our content, we would say, hey, why not sub to us?
you'll give us a
Um,
like, give us a sub,
Give us a
give us a little
like, give
comment.
us a sub, and I promise you, things will get so much better over time with our channel. Things will start changing. We're gonna
Yeah,
start upgrading more. Uh,
oh
which
yeah.
for now, we're just doing this for fun. We're doing this with you guys just to have a good time and talk about
Yeah.
anime. And it gives me.
Speaking
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, speaking of, you go ahead and finish your thought real quick,
Yeah, I was
because
gonna
I got
say.
a little bit.
Basically, me and Bobsto just do this just to get the emotions and the expressions off of our chests that we don't get to get off while we're watching the anime itself. So,
Yeah.
but go ahead with what you were
But
gonna say.
speaking of discussions and comments, I actually do want to kind of start off with a small little thing at the start of each episode, and that is, what do you guys think like about Mob Psycho 100? What do you guys think of this second season?
Oh yeah,
We'd love to talk with you guys over in the comments about it. This is a very interesting series, and I love talking about the series. So if I can have an excuse to talk about it more, I would very much appreciate it.
and me and
But anyways, sorry, you go
I
on.
just had one more little tidbit. Me and Bobsto have been slightly talking about it. I mentioned it once. I don't know if you remember it or not, but if things get big enough and you guys start commenting and wanting to know more about us and wanting to be more involved, I have been thinking about creating a fan Discord Discord channel.
Yeah.
So if you guys are very interested in what we do and you want to start getting more involved with our upload times and what we're doing and what we're covering, let us know. We'll create that channel so that you guys can, comment back and forth. We'll be reading it every single day, I
Hmm.
promise you. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool. But
Well,
uh
uh, regardless, I think it's best we jump right into it.
yes, sir.
So we left off with episode 6. Reagan and Mob are taking a break from each other, and Reagan decided to start up, do his business. He's starting to become pretty popular and pretty
Oh
well
yeah.
known for his work, and he's even been invited onto a TV show
A
about
national
psychics.
television, like national television.
That it turns out, fuckboy Jodo
Oh,
was the one who suggested that Reagan come on, because Jodo's got some plans, because he doesn't appreciate that Reagan need him when he got possessed by Mogami.
dude, fucking fucking Jodo.
Fuckboy Jodo.
I can't get over how petty this man is. Like,
This old fucking man, dude,
he's
dude's the prime Becky, Becky Prime.
dude. I would say Ultra Instinct Becky. Like, This
Yeah,
man,
dude.
he's so mad that he got kneed in the stomach that he brought this man on live TV just to embarrass him. Like,
Hmm.
so the premise of what happened here on the show was he got introduced to the show by Jodo, but he didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, really, really shitty of Jodo,
Uh-huh.
but
I'm a fucking ruin this guy.
yeah, Reagan,
Fuck this
Reagan's
guy.
just like, I'm awesome as usual. Let's do this. And Reagan was all in his head, like, oh,
Yeah.
like this is my chance. This is my moment to shine.
Yeah.
But what happens, Bob Stove?
Alright, so we start off here. Reagan's, in the green room. He's super fucking nervous. He's like, oh shit, I'm here with like actual psychics, and he has to remind himself, oh, you know what? It's all showbiz. More than likely, things will go smoothly. I'll just say some things, maybe throw some salt here and there, and it'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Yeah, so this
Um,
this kid, he did not know that this kid was like the supreme primo of acting. Like,
yeah, dude, this fucking okay, okay. So yeah, so they fucking wheel in this kid. Is like, he does like they're doing all this showman stuff. And it's like, this kid is possessed, and he's like making all these weird fucking noises and shit. and,
he's just
and
convulsing and
originally Jodo was going to be the one to perform the exorcism, but what does fuckboy Jodo do?
ugh, lets him go first, a little bitch.
It's like, yo, Reagan, you're such a badass. Why
Yeah,
don't you do it?
I just no. The way that he put it was very sly. He's just like, I just
Yeah.
thought I'd give the younger generation a chance to shine. I already know what
Uh-huh.
I can do, but I really want to see what the
Hmm.
younger generation of psychics can do. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, he did that on purpose.
Dude, can we talk about how Reagan did like a sick bottle flip?
Dude, he really did.
he
He just
fucking flips that shit and chugs it
dude, he really does.
like a
Like, it's because that's Reagan. Reagan's a badass.
hmm
He
he's,
fakes it
he's
until he makes it, man.
Yeah,
Um,
man. But yeah, like you said, this kid is a dedicated actor because of what all
dude.
the shit Reagan does to him.
So Reagan spends 30 minutes trying to get this kid to just, react. So Reagan,
Yeah.
obviously, at this point, everybody should know that Reagan is not a real psychic. He's just a con man, and he acts
No,
like a
no, no, Red. He's a spirit medium.
a
He
spirit medium.
specializes he's in the
Oh,
spiritual side of things, not the psychic side of things.
excuse
He's
me,
a spirit
a
medium.
spirit
He doesn't have
medium.
the same abilities as like a psychic because he's spiritual.
But no, like he goes for like 30 minutes trying to get this kid to just work with him. He's just like, come on, kid, don't make me look bad in front of all these people. But he just can't get nothing done, and like he does stupid move after stupid move after
Yeah.
like everything in his arsenal he uses in this 30 minutes of
Yeah,
time.
man.
And in comes in
Dude.
the TV guy, uh,
Yeah.
and he says, "So since 30 minutes have went by, we're gonna let Master Jodo take a hand."
And Jodo fucking speed runs his exorcism.
This man drops the bomb on Reagan. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
this child. There's absolutely nothing
yeah.
to exercise in this child. This kid
Uh-huh.
sat there for 30 fucking minutes
Yeah,
with
man.
Reagan doing everything he possibly could do.
Dude, Reagan's animation even goes super hard at one moment where he's doing like this flurry of punches. And he's like going
Dude,
all around the kid like fucking Super Saiyan
dude, it's
style.
so funny that, and then in, com- in comes in Jodo just to ruin his fucking day. And the kid stands
Yeah.
up, takes a standing ovation, does a bow, and in comes in the kink shaming.
Yeah.
So, what exactly were you trying to exercise within 30 minutes? Like,
Uh-huh.
and Reagan's
And that's
just
when
Reagan starts
yeah,
having a
man.
mental breakdown. He's like, "Oh snap! I'm on live TV, and
Uh-huh.
now I look like a fraud." And man,
Uh-huh.
so you might get a kick out of this one, Bob Stowe, but I said, uh, I said, Jodo pwned Reagan like a clown.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if you get the reference of that,
I
but
I I do. I have an inkling.
Jodo
And I think it has
pwned
something
Reagan like a
I think it has
clown.
I have a feeling it has something to do with Plato and
all,
Aristotle.
all the bullshit Reagan told him, Jodo.
Hell
Jodo
yeah.
asked how.
Hell yeah.
Pwned
That's
Reagan
what I'm
like a
talking
clown.
about.
Uh,
I do,
sorry.
I mentioned that this one thing I've written down is that Reagan becomes so shocked by this that he gets fucking like MS Paint stretched. Like when
Mm,
you take an image in like PowerPoint or like Photoshop and you just start
yeah.
moving it around and stretching it,
Yeah.
like the fucking the trumpet kid memes, like almost like that.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
happens to
And
That happens to Reagan.
poor Reagan, but
Yeah,
everybody
man.
gets a big laugh, and it um
Yeah.
then it moves on to his downward spiral. So basically, what
Uh
happens
huh.
is Reagan it does this collage of Reagan losing all of his friends. Um,
Hmm.
it's like I'd have to say like when he goes to the bar after all this is
Yeah.
happening, which I don't know since we're talking about the collage, I think my favorite part about the collage was he went back to the bar with his devoted boozies,
With his
and
yeah.
even like the old booze buddies are just like, "I trusted you, and you're a fraud.
Yeah,
Screw you." And I'm
those
like,
motherfuckers.
"Oh man, like
Yeah,
why would you?"
those
I was
motherfuckers.
like, "Why would you do that?"
Uh, because
But
they're fucking assholes you meet at a bar. They're not like actual. They're not actual humans.
but
Gee.
that's pretty
But
much in the collage. That was pretty much the only thing that I
um,
noted.
I I have a few things noted with it. Actually, back to the TV thing. I did mention I just thought of one bit. So I put in that Jodo's kind of a comedian because he fucking sets Reagan up for a damn joke.
Oh yeah, he really does. Like
And
this is
he's like, oh, well, what was it then? The thought came to my head of like, oh man, Reagan thought he was just coming down to the open mic night. What turns out it's just the roast of Reagan Arataka.
it really was. It's like watching those stupid
Yeah,
Japanese game shows.
yeah, man.
Poor Reagan, man.
Um,
Poor Reagan. But
anyway, so with
what about the
the depression
collage?
collage,
Yeah.
the depression montage, um, fucking Reagan gets turned into a big meme.
Oh,
He's like
just a
posted on fucking
huge
forums
meme.
everywhere.
Like
There's all of a sudden a bunch of people who were quote unquote scammed by Reagan, talking about things Reagan would do to them and stuff like that. Like a lot of fucking heinous shit.
oh yeah. It's
And
crazy.
we even see some of the people that he's actually talked with, and even they're like adding to the fucking negativity because they're fucking assholes. Even though Reagan's never once actually conned them out of their
He just like
those fucking assholes.
everybody's coming out of the woodwork to say, "Oh, Reagan's nothing but a con man. He called my mom garbage." Like just
And
stupid shit.
one of the curse guy didn't even get charged. He was even like, yeah, man, man, fuck that guy.
He said, "Fuck that guy." Yeah, the curse guy
um,
who never like Reagan even tried to
yeah,
just swipe him away. It's on
he
his
just pushed him
ass.
out the door.
Like why would you do
Yeah,
this to this man?
yeah,
This man
man,
hit such a
yeah.
low that
Um,
he didn't know where else to go. I guess
things are so
another.
low is fucking. Oh, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. One part of all this that really got me was all this is going on, and Mob is completely oblivious to it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was about to talk about that. Yeah, yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck happened because Mom
Like,
doesn't watch TV.
Mob doesn't do
Mom doesn't
anything. Like,
watch. All he does is he goes to school,
he
hangs out with the Body
exercises
Improvement Club,
because he's a Chad.
exercises. He's now hanging out. He's now actually hanging out with some of his other friends, and he
Right.
might play video games with his younger brother. But that's about all that Mob does. He's not really a TV person.
Yeah.
Um, but shit's so bad for Reagan that he's fucking like disconnected his phone. Like that's when shit really started to like
Yeah. He like
dawn on me that
he
oh man, shit's getting bad.
like he's trapped inside of his room. He doesn't leave. It's like
Hmm.
he's super depressed. And who wouldn't be?
Oh,
Like,
there is one cool shot I do want to mention. There's a shot of Reagan. He's like made up of all of the he's like it's like his outline.
yeah,
He's just full of all the
I was
negative
really
comments.
yeah, I was just gonna talk about that and the meme
Yeah,
transition. Like the
yeah.
huge like wall of memes that he was created out of. I
Hmm.
thought that was absolutely incredible to look at. So,
Uh-huh. But that
um,
shit is fucking like all this entire sequence throughout the rest of the episode is really good. And I wasn't expecting to get taken on a fucking fields trip
dude, this
with
episode was
with this
crazy.
episode.
But
Yeah.
with all this,
But
is there anything else you want to add to the depressing
other
scene?
than that, so Reagan now he's hit the most wanted list for journalists.
Oh yeah,
They
like
are fucking wanting his story
yeah.
so
So
much.
they literally stand outside of his home
Hmm.
begging for a press
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
So Reagan's sitting there
Oh.
like, oh, press conference, like
Hmm. There's one thing I do like is he starts running from the journalist, then he just slows down and comes to a stop.
yeah, because they mentioned the press conference.
Yeah, because he mentioned a press conference, but I do like this. That he first was going to start running, but then he's like, no, I'm going to fucking confront this head on.
Yeah, like
And
he
then
starts turning into the Reagan we all know and love. Like,
yeah,
why am I running? Like I can
and
handle
dude,
this.
hmm and
Um,
dude, the fucking ad transition for this episode is really fucking good.
oh, before we get into the next part, one of my notes it says the Reagan meme is based.
Right, it is quite based in Reagan filled.
Stupid based Reagan memes.
Hell yeah. But dude, the fucking ad transition
Oh man, it was really
before
good.
the press conference is really good. It's like all these TVs and it's all about Reagan.
Yeah, dude.
And then it just hard cuts all of them to the empty press conference mics.
Yeah, this was really cool.
It's so
Um,
fucking good. It's one of my favorites.
so it's
So
time for the press conference. Which
yeah.
is a really awesome scene. So much happens in this
Hmm.
short amount of time.
Yeah.
For one thing that I wanted to note was, Reagan handles these people in such a, calm way.
Dude. Yeah.
Just
Yeah, dude. And like it throws these people off as well
like how
because they're not
honest
expecting
he
it.
is, like how honest he's being with
And
his answers.
yeah.
He's literally answering every question they're throwing at him, but in
Hmm.
the correct way. They're asking stupid
Hmm.
questions like, did you ever con anybody out of their money? No. I provided them with the service that they were adequate with at the time.
Uh-huh.
They left fulfilled and happy. You can ask anybody I've ever had to come in contact with. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, dude. He's just
Uh-huh.
like he's on it. Oh
And then they're like, "Oh, but what about the people you scammed or assaulted?" And it's like, "Do you have any proof of that?"
yeah,
Because from
like
what I see, it's just a bunch of nobodies with baseless claims.
exactly. Like
And
people
it's
I've never
just like,
even met.
ooh,
I was like, dang,
fucking
Reagan, like, man, charisma 20.
yeah.
Like he like doubled
Dude,
his charisma.
he hit 100% on his charisma
He
meter,
really did. Um
and he's just fucking popping off. I
un-
do want to say like this whole thing is prefaced with at first like it cut before even the press conference starts. There's like a scene of him getting an email from his mother, and on the email is like a prepared apology statement.
oh yeah.
And he basically his entire scene first starts off with, "Oh shit, is he gonna like actually say the apology statement? And it's basically ruin his career."
Oh yeah,
But
that would
no, then he
be
decide. Then that's when he decides, no, fuck it, I'm sticking to my guns,
Yeah, he really did.
and
He just
just
stuck to it.
get this amazing scene of Reagan. He knows he's in the lion's den, and he's gonna fucking fight his
And
way out of
and
it.
he is. Like he's 100% doing it.
He is.
Uh there was another part, man, the funny part about the Discord mod is keeping tabs on Reagan.
Yeah, yeah, man. Um,
This guy's such an
I
idiot. Why would he get on live television?
oh, dude, yeah, that dude,
The
yeah,
Discord
hell
mod.
yeah, yeah. He is a Discord mod. Um, he's even eating his chips. The only thing
Yeah,
he's
I
not doing is calling
know.
people. The only thing he's not doing is calling people kitten,
I
which I don't know. He
know.
might do that on the
He
side.
pretty sure he might do that on the side.
He probably calls
But
girls kitten.
but
Um,
man,
but we get to
Jodo's on the other side of the TV just rubbing it in too. He's just
yeah, man.
enjoying
He's like,
every
"Ooh,
minute of this.
you're getting fucked today, boy."
Yeah.
Ooh, and even Shinra's watching. Shinra's actually being somewhat supportive, unlike fucking Jodo.
Yeah.
Man, Jodo doesn't deserve Shinra. I'm gonna be honest.
No, he does not
Um,
because
uh,
man, he is such an awesome
he's a
guy.
shitty fucking teacher.
Yeah, but
Um, but
either way,
one thing I do want to know is so we get to this one really interesting thing within the press conference
I
where
think I know what you're about to say,
uh
and I have this written down
they
too.
ask him about why did you start your business, and Reagan starts asking, well, why did I start this business?
Completely went down a lore hole, like a rabbit hole of
Yeah,
lore for Reagan. Figured
yeah,
out where he got his
and
office, why
yeah,
he started doing what he was doing, and uh,
because at first he thought was it fame? No, it wasn't that, because originally this just going to be like a little like side gig. It nothing like major, not like a career.
yeah,
And
it got kind of crazy.
then we get the scene of
Oh
where
man, this is such a good
it's
scene.
the day it's the same. It's almost exactly the same scene as the one from the end of season one, where it's the day Bob first meets Reagan, but it's from Reagan's perspective,
Yeah,
and it's so good
it
because like we
really
see
is.
what
This.
Reagan was like thinking throughout this meeting.
Hmm. I
Because at first
do
Reagan,
before
so
we.
if you want to take this on,
Well, no,
you
no, no.
can. But
I'm gonna let you tell this story. I
yeah,
was just talking about before all this
hmm
happened, when it slid into the lore side of it. There was
hmm
a really cool where it goes inside of the camera and it shows
yeah.
all the
Oh,
components of the camera.
yeah. I forgot about that. That's really
And
good.
then later after all this, it shoots back out of the camera. But like it
Hmm
sinks into the camera and you see all the internal components and it revolves into a security camera inside of his office, which is so
Yeah, yeah.
fucking
Okay,
cool.
that's so good. Props to Bones for
Oh
all the
man.
sick shit they did with
Dude,
animating
all
the series.
they did so well on this, like graphics and everything. But
Hmm
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So it's from his perspective, and so Mob comes in, and and Reagan actually, like, from the sound of his thoughts, he seems really annoyed, and he's very pessimistic about Mob saying that he's a psychic.
Well, it's because he's getting
However,
bored with what
mhm,
he's doing.
uh, however, yeah, yeah. But Reagan also notices that Mob is looking at him with like this like sense of like excitement and childlike hope, and something about it is striking a chord within Reagan.
Yeah,
And it's even to the point where like it's because like this is Mob's response to like Reagan giving him the advice that he's given him, and that's like he's just thinking, I'm just giving general advice like I give most other people, but he's seeing that it's like affecting this small child in a very big way,
yeah.
and
Like
that's when the whole green tea thing. Oh, sorry, what
no,
are you gonna
no.
say?
I was just gonna say I really
Uh,
like how he handles Mob in this scene because Mob is just
yeah,
so
hmm
dumbstruck over Reagan.
yeah,
Uh, and we'll get into it later, but man,
hmm
the way Mob just twinkles
yeah,
around Reagan is
yeah,
really cool. I really like
It's
how
really
they,
cool and it's really really wholesome.
yeah, it's really nice.
Um, and so the usual thing with the hot tea happens. Mob catches it, and that was the day he officially opened his psychic office.
Yeah.
And the scene, the flashback ends with this really cool thing where Reagan realizes he admired Mob, but he's also starting to realize how much he has used Mob and held Mob back.
And what
And
mean
it's
things he said to Mob is
yeah,
starting to click
hmm
on how that affected Mob.
And this is
This is just a
where the
big
tears about
reflection.
started.
Like, this whole episode is nothing but a
Yeah.
reflective state of Reagan, which is really cool.
hmm
And that's the only
Yeah.
reason this is the only reason we're talking about it so much is because it was
hmm
so good of an episode.
hmm
Man, it just all of it was just
I'd
crazy,
probably
crazy
say
good.
emotionally, it's probably one of my favorite episodes in the
I
entire
would say
series.
the same thing. Emotionally, like from that side view of it, it's like,
Actually,
man.
I'd argue 6 and 7 are a bundle. Like they're one big
Well,
episode
yeah,
in my
it's because it
opinion.
was just
Like
it was a
because like
part one and two.
it's like it's
Um,
two, yeah. It's so like this entire 2 part thing is just it's really good and just emotionally satisfying.
but
Um,
after all of
but
this, like all of the reflection that Reagan has, it shoots back out of the camera. Really cool fucking transition.
yeah,
And man, this is really cool scene. Mob, as all this is going down, Mob sees Reagan on TV for the first
yeah,
time. And he starts
hmm
realizing why everybody's calling him a fraud and all this other. This is the first time he realizes it over the course of a few weeks of Reagan being constantly like pesterized, like
yeah,
by the press, that Mob actually pays attention to it. And
hmm
Reagan's sitting there just dumbstruck, and then all of a sudden, the the press is just like all over Reagan, and they're just like, "You
yeah,
didn't even answer any of our questions." Blah 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 blah. Even though he really did, he answered a shit ton of their questions.
yeah,
They're just like,
uh-huh,
"You didn't answer the questions that we wanted answered." Blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, everything starts floating in the air,
and
like
shaking. Like
and
the first, like
shaking.
first the mic starts shaking, and they're like, "Oh shit! Is it a fucking earthquake?" And then shit just starts going
Dude,
nuts.
like the cameras start floating up in the sky. Everybody's
Yeah,
like freaking out. Like, is he doing this? What's
yeah,
going on? Jodo's through the
and all
screen looking
while,
like, oh my god, is Reagan
yeah,
actually doing this? Did he pull the wool
yeah,
over my eyes? Like,
uh-huh,
just
and then
complete, just like,
then you got fucking Reagan just chilling there, and he's like, "Well, you guys better be careful. I don't know what could happen."
dude, Reagan fakes it till he makes it, dude. He's just,
Yeah, dude.
but he realizes who's
Uh,
doing it. He realizes what's happening.
yeah.
But he ends up leaving.
Well,
And
before you carry on with this, I do want to say before the scene ends, it's a really cool shot where it goes into the point of view of one of the cameras floating,
oh, that's right. Yeah, that was a
and it's
really
so
awesome
fucking
scene.
cool.
I have that on here. I just skipped over it.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because that was like one thing that stood out to me was like the little point of view shot of the camera.
but basically, Reagan leaves, starts walking down the street, and Mob's outside of the studio, just standing there. So then you obviously realize, oh, Mob did this whole thing. Um,
Mhm.
and we get this really awesome, like, little tidbit from Mob. And Reagan, he asks Mob, he says, so did you know? And Mob's just like, what do you mean? He's like, did you know what they were doing? And I'm like, and Mob's just sitting there like, yeah, I've always knew that my master is a really awesome guy. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh
and
my
that shit. Yeah.
god. I was like,
Mhm.
no, why would you do this to my emotions? Like,
Mhm. Even back to when I was watching, because this is the last episode I watched back when it was originally airing before I got too busy with college, and that shit like that made me start crying,
dude,
and it's just so
it's such an
so
emotional
good.
scene, dude. Like, it's
Hmm
crazy. But they end up leaving and having a late evening birthday filled with joyous ramen, of course. What else?
Yeah, man.
And
Get some ramen. Get the
but
ramen.
after all that, that leads us into episode 8. What
Episode
a
8.
hell of 2 episodes. Like, man, these
Yeah,
two
dude.
episodes like filled up. It felt like a movie, like trying to watch a
Yeah.
movie, and like I
Yeah.
really
You're
appreciated.
watching the like downfall of somebody and then the like reflection and retribution of them.
Yeah, like
It's like so good.
it's insanely really good.
Hmm.
But that moves us into episode 8.
Yeah, and Mob's
Um,
cult has grown. It's gotten big.
what now?
Said Mob's little cult that he doesn't know about has
Oh
gotten big.
yeah, this cult has gotten huge. I think the episode starts with the reporter lady. Um,
Yeah,
and no. The episode starts with the little picnic scene, I think.
I think so.
But the picnic scene was really good. We just get a little
Hmm.
flashback of Mob's family sitting outside at a picnic, and
Hmm.
Mob is running, and this scene was so fucking funny to me, and it was just because I don't know, I like to see children fall and suffer. Um, but basically the mom's just like, quit running, you're gonna fall and hurt yourself, and as soon as she says it, just like any kid ever, he
Yeah,
falls,
false.
scrapes his knee. And we get this really cool like little section where she pulls his knee down, and you get to see the gaps
Yeah,
between his like scrapes. That was a really good
yeah.
detailed moment to me. I'm sorry if this is just
Hmm.
insignificant to most people. This scene, what they do with it is just really cool to me. Just the small details
Hmm.
that they add inside this anime is really cool to me, such as that. But as she's pulling the
Yeah,
scab down, he goes into a crying fit, and everything's just floating, playing like Beauty and the Beast mode, floating
yeah,
across
man.
the park. And I don't know, that was just really cool to me. But go, you can take it from here,
Yeah.
Mobsto. Sorry.
Alright, so like I said, so Mob's cult's gotten bigger and Misato is chilling. What I like about this cult is they're rather directionless because they're like, here's the person we look up to, but what should we be doing? We have no
We
idea.
have no clue what to do with
We
our
we
time other
we
than
just
worship.
know we just know that our Lord Psycho Helmet, because that's the name of the group, the Psycho Helmet.
Yeah,
That's the name of the group,
psycho.
Psycho Helmet, and
I know.
and Mob, yeah, and they're just like whoever this guy is, he's fucking awesome, and that's all we know.
Dude, it's
Um,
phenomenal what they do
and
with
so
this.
Misato is very interested with how things are going to play out, and even wants Mob to partake in this marathon, in the school marathon.
And by the way, that's the reporter lady for anybody who's
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. Misato's the girl, the camera girl. She takes the pictures,
Yeah, she runs the school
and yeah,
paper. But yeah,
yeah, man.
she's she's basically just trying to lull Maul back into a false, sense of entitlement.
Hmm.
Trying to take a huge part in this cult that he accidentally created. Uh,
Hmm.
but and
But we get.
go ahead.
Are you going? Oh, no, you going?
I was just going to explain further if that's what you were wanting to do.
Yeah, yeah. You can go ahead and do that.
Basically, what's going on is she finds a way to do that because she finds out that they're going to be stationed up at this year's marathon, which is something the
Yeah,
school does every year. Kids have to partake in the marathon and place, and I think it's just another weird Japan thing.
yeah.
It's basically just for fun, essentially.
Oh,
Um,
I fucking forgot. Part of I never didn't have this written down, but it's important to note. The reason why they know what school it is because they're able to track down the school's button
oh
on his
yeah,
jacket,
yeah. They
and
figure
that's how
out,
they know what school Mob goes to.
yeah, just from a button, which is insane.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But they end up creating this plan to sit outside of the finish line to take a picture of their Lord and Savior, Lord Psycho Helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But so the reporter lady's just trying to get Mob into winning the race, or at least,
Yeah.
finishing the race.
Hmm.
And Mob is just like, nah, I don't care. But I will do it for Sabomi.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I like
So
she's like, yo, use your powers. It'd be sick. And Mob's like, nah, man, I don't.
nah,
That's
I
gonna be
don't.
cheating.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't want
do
to
that.
cheat.
I don't cheat. Who cheats?
This for
Losers cheat.
squares.
Losers cheat.
Losers cheat. Hell yeah.
But and sorry. But
Yeah.
no, he releases his big plan that he's going to place top 10 and ask out, and that would give him enough confidence to ask out Sabomi. So with all
Yeah.
this, everybody finds out about it, even the Body Improvement
Yeah.
Club, and they're just like,
Yeah, man.
"What?" They're like, "Are you serious?" And
Hmm.
even the I can't remember his dang name, but the gangster guy,
Tenga.
Tanga is just like, you know what? I support you, bro. Here's some running shoes. Here's my running
Here's some
shoes.
running shoes. That
And
was just conveniently mob size because he quote unquote bought them and they weren't the right size.
no. Like
Tenga's.
that was the funny part about the scene, though. Is just
Yeah.
like he brings in his running shoes, and the body or the not the Body Improvement Club, but the Telepathy Club are just like, man, that's really nice of you. Like you didn't have to do that for Mob, and Mob's just
Yeah.
like, oh man, I appreciate that. He's like, it's just because I support what you do, Mob. I'm there for you, buddy.
Yeah.
And then the Body
Um.
Improvement Club's outside the window. He's like, oh, so that's who he ended up pawning him off of. He bought the wrong
Yeah.
size.
Hell yeah.
I was like, why would you
Yeah.
ruin the moment like
I
that?
love how they just fucking exercise outside the club window.
Yeah, they're just kind of like in
Uh.
place
They're doing.
jogging by the window.
Yeah.
But
I do also like the little pep talk Tenga gives Mob. It even tests Mob's convictions a little bit.
oh yeah, he's just like
In this scene.
yeah, like the way Tingo responds to Mob is like really good.
But
Um,
yeah, but yeah, Bob's entering so that he can, if he wins first place, he can go and ask out Tsubomi.
so yeah, so in comes this giant training
Training,
montage.
training time. It's time to. Hell yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
But he's
Hell yeah.
basically like everybody's just flabbergasted that he's gonna ask out Sabomi. So everybody's just
Yeah.
helping him train. Uh, his brother
Even Reagan.
Riku, like Reagan,
Right?
Riku. I said Riku.
Riku. Ritsu.
Ritsu, I said Riku.
Riku.
Ritsu, his brother, and I can't remember Terry. Uh,
Yeah.
takes shifts for him at his job to help out Reagan while he's training,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
Mob is just training his ass off for this, like running like
Yeah, dude.
crazy, so much that he ruins the running shoes. That
Uh-huh.
like just over the course of a week or 2 weeks was it?
Hmm.
2 weeks, this man just did nothing but train and run, and just that was it.
I
Um,
like I like how Dimple's also running support this entire time. Like he's
yeah,
just got the fucking like, megaphone and shit.
it's just
He's
like
just giving the pep talk.
I just think it's super cool. But after all this is
Yeah.
like, is there anything you want to add before we move on?
No, other than I just part this adds to like more so why I fucking love Reagan as a character is Reagan when Bob tells Reagan about his training, Reagan's like, all right, we're not you're not coming to work today, you're taking the day off.
Yeah,
And Bob's
man.
like, oh why? And then Reagan grabs his fucking tracksuit and is like,
Yeah.
well, we got some running to do.
Well, no, he didn't have his
It's
tracksuit till later.
not his tracksuit, but basically he was like, yeah, we got some running to do, and they train together.
Yeah,
And it's
man.
fucking awesome.
So in
Um,
comes in the scene of the marathon.
yeah.
This is a really, really just dedicated scene,
Oh, there is a small scene before the marathon where Tsubomi and her friend enters Reagan's office.
Oh yeah, that scene.
Yeah,
You want to talk
yeah,
about it?
it's very small. All I really want to say is that it's really like the friend story. Like I'm not really interested in that, but what I'm interested in is when it comes to her time, she notices as her friend's talking, she notices the picture of Mob on Reagan's wall,
Yeah,
and
she getting the
she
hots.
that's when she asks. She gives this whole hypothetical situation of like of a person she
Having
quote
a
unquote admires.
yeah.
And it's very clear, even though she says the story was phony, you can clearly tell like no, she's asking indirectly about Mob,
Yeah.
without actually saying it, and just trying to play it off because she's like this cool. Tsubomi is a weird character when it comes to how she expresses herself.
Well, she's just like it's not that she's
Um,
weird, I don't think. I think
well,
she's just
I'm not saying like she herself is like a weird character, but like the way she expresses herself is like
I don't know. She's just
odd.
nonchalant, if I had to say
Yeah,
anything about her
yeah.
feelings. And
She
it's
just doesn't
not,
give a fuck.
she doesn't express well. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's carefree. It's basically what it is.
She's
Uh,
carefree. Yeah, okay. That's the best way to describe it.
yeah, she's
Is
very
carefree.
carefree, charismatic
I
person, though. She's very charismatic.
Yeah. Uh, so marathon day.
Marathon day. Uh,
Yeah, here we go.
so
Here we go.
mob's
The
super
meat.
super focused. So
Yeah,
the gun pops off and they start running and immediately mob eats shit. Like
yeah.
mob
Toa Squad
eats
gives.
shit, dude.
Yeah, dude. But I'd like to add before the race, the Toa Squad gives Mob a little supportive ass slap.
Oh yeah, we thought it was an ass slap.
It's obvious they slapped his back, but Mob's so
It
short and they're so tall. It looks like they
it looks
fucking
like an ass
played a
slap.
little.
Like
They looks
100%
like they
an ass
played a
slap.
little slap ass.
And then like some of the members of the telepathy club were just like, "Oh, you guys are sick too."
Yeah.
That was a cool little scene.
Tried it.
But
But yeah, Mob
they
gets fucked
Mob gets fucked
immediately.
immediately. He gets pummeled down to the ground. And but my man, he gets back up and he rises up and he starts running again.
Yeah,
This man is already
yeah.
bleeding at the beginning of the
Uh-huh.
race. But he says,
He
"Fuck
is
it. I'm
determined.
going for it. And I'm gonna take it on." Oh, so he goes in there and he's just like, I'm gonna do it. So he's running across, and we get these just him being super focused. Uh, Reagan comes in and starts running with him.
Yeah,
But I'd have to say one of the scenes inside of the marathon scene, I'd have to say was his parents is what I really liked.
yeah,
How
yeah.
supportive they were. Uh,
They are. I like
because
how at first they were worried
yeah, they're like,
about
let's
Mob joining.
yeah, they were just like, hey, let's just kind of stay in the middle, like so that way we'll be able to get him, because he's not gonna make it to the end. But
Uh-huh.
to their surprise, this man's still trucking. He trucks past them.
Yeah,
just
he is trucking.
full
His
force.
breath is getting short. He is obviously super exhausted, but he's trucking along.
Man,
His form is getting fucked up, but he doesn't. It
yeah,
doesn't matter. He's going. He's
dude.
fucking going.
Oh, but either way, he starts going down the trail, but unfortunately, my man just couldn't make it. He just couldn't make it to the end.
Yeah.
But man, Ritsu finished ninth place, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Um,
he wakes up inside of a hospital, or like not the hospital, but the
but
nursing station of the school.
yeah, the school's like infirmary
And
basically.
he gets told that Ritsu made ninth place, and he just doesn't care. He's just like, "That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's super neat.
it's
I'm happy.
awesome.
I'm happy for my
Again,
brother."
that's why I like Mob so much. Is and he's told, "Oh, you passed out. You like couldn't finish. You didn't finish the race." And
Hmm.
even then, Mob's still like, "Well, shit, my brother placed ninth place. That's awesome."
Yeah. So he ends up
Um,
heading home after that, and then we get
yeah.
a boom plot twist.
Ooh, yeah.
Huge plot twist.
This fucking thing. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
man.
so
So,
insane. I'm gonna let you talk about it because I'm gonna get
all
overwhelmed.
right. Okay. So it's just it's an average day. It's after the marathon. The parents are cooking a special dinner because Ritsu placed ninth and Mob participated in the marathon, and that itself was like a big step for Mob to his parents. Is the fact that Mob joined the marathon.
Yeah.
And as they're cooking, there's a knock at the door, and Ritsu goes to see who it is because he thinks Mob's probably home.
Familiar
And oh man,
faces.
it's fucking Show.
All
And
around me are
Show, like the way he's
familiar faces.
hell yeah, and the way he's drawn, he has this fucking dead ass murderous intent in his fucking
This
eyes.
is such a cool drawn out
Yeah,
scene too.
yeah. It's like so tense. As soon as he opens the door, you're like, oh shit. And it's like, hey, your parents are home. Oh shit, that's gonna complicate
I
things.
put in
It's
my
gonna make
notes, I
things
said, in
complicated.
comes in an all way too terribly familiar face.
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Yeah,
kind of,
and even Ritsu is like shitting himself as soon as he sees Show because he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?
but
Why are you here?"
yeah,
But and
but
so it cuts
then
back to Mob and Dimple,
yes,
um, and they're on their way home, and they notice on the distance, hey, there's smoke off in the distance, and Dimple realizes, oh shit, isn't that like near where you live?
oh
And
man,
they rush in, and the house is on fire.
just
At this
completely
point, we
on
realize,
fire.
oh shit, did Show fucking burn the house? Like kill? Like at first we think, oh shit,
Show murdered these.
what the fuck did
Oh god,
Show do?
and
And
like
Mob
Mob
is good. It's such a good scene of Mob. He walks in, like he just fucking walks in, and he's just thinking to himself, well, it's like, oh well, I mean, it couldn't have been an accident because my mother, like mom and dad are capable and know how to cook. There shouldn't be any faulty wiring, anything like that.
He just goes
Um,
on a list on how
Ritsu's
many
home.
reasons why his family's okay. Just in
Yeah.
complete struck
Uh-huh.
by denial.
Yeah.
Um,
And oh wow, I like how as he's moving through the fire, like the fire's just sort of like forming around him because he's like using his
dude,
psychic powers to protect
yeah,
himself.
it's so
And it's
so
so
good.
cool.
Oh,
And then he opens the door. And
mm,
before we even see it, Dimple's like, fuck, look
turn
away,
away,
Mob. Don't look at
Mob,
it.
look away. And then Mob
And
sees 3 bodies burnt to a crisp,
yeah,
sitting on the
and
floor.
distance Mob over the fucking edge, even beyond 100.
Cliffhanger episode. It
And
just
it's a
immediately cuts
cliffhanger.
off. Imagine watching this episode when it came out and
Yeah,
having to
and
wait
having to wait a
another
week.
week to see what the fuck
Yeah,
happens. But luckily for you guys, we
yeah.
didn't have to do that. So we're gonna move straight into the
We were
next
able to
episode.
binge it. That's gonna
So,
make watching dude, if season 3 has anything like this in it, that's gonna be a pain when we're watching it weekly.
dude, it's gonna be. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's gonna hurt. But
Uh-huh.
that moves us
Alright.
into episode 9, where it starts
Episode
moving us
9.
into some really, really awesome, fast-paced shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Here we go.
I'm gonna bust it open.
Here's where shit gets fucking awesome.
I'm gonna bust it
Alright,
wide open. All right, so
the
Mob
floor is yours.
opens the door. He looks down at his parents. His parents are dead. His brother's dead. Mob's just like, they're not dead. They're not. They're dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
And
And
Dimple is the
rage.
whole time is like, they're not dead. They're just dummy bodies. They're just dummy bodies. But
Yeah.
before all this happens, Mob is just not hearing it. Mob goes into
Yeah.
full, immediate,
Yeah.
100% rage mode.
Rage.
Rage Mob.
Yeah.
And I think it even goes from 100% up to like question mark at this point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, at this point it's question mark.
but then Dimple
And
starts talking about them being fake bodies and how he can tell that they're fake bodies, and it brings
yeah.
Mob down to 100%.
Yeah, he brings back to 100. And Mob even dude, this is where we get the first like glimpse into just how powerful Mob is.
Dude,
He fucking does like a trace thing to see if he can sense his
dude,
parents and brother.
Mob is a fucking dolphin. I didn't even know it.
He's a
Like,
fucking dolphin.
he
Yeah.
used
He's got the echolocation
echolocation
shit.
to
Yeah.
find out where he was. And immediately, as soon as he did it,
And
he's like,
as soon
I
as he
found them.
confirmed it,
And then they bounced out of the house fast as fuck.
yeah,
And then it cuts over to a scene,
yeah,
but it cuts over to a scene of who did I put here? Hold on. Oh yeah, it said I put in Dollar General kiss and blonde Heisenberg.
oh yeah,
He
that's what I'm
pops
talking
down in
about.
front of them, but they're talking about how they're gonna have to go murder his family and murder Mob, and then Mob just butts
Yeah,
down into the ground and starts fucking up and asking questions later. Dude, he
yeah,
busts these people to
yeah,
fucking
man,
pieces. He's just like, fuck
dude.
you. And
So like the discount kiss guy, like he just starts zapping Mob, and Mob is just not having it. He just flings the dude to like
dude,
several buildings.
Mob yeets this motherfucker across the
Yeah,
nation, and then Mob says,
yeah.
"Do you have the questions I need?" I was like, "Oh my god,
Mhm.
dude!" I was like, "Holy
Dude,
shit,
I will
this man
say
just
this
got yeeted
about
into oblivion."
I'll say this about Rage Mob going forward in the rest of the season. His rage is now a lot more refined, and he's even emoting a lot more as well
Yeah,
when he's
he
in this state.
he's starting to be more like animated than he used to
Yeah,
be.
and I think it might have been his time with Mogami that might have brought this change.
Most definitely, I would most definitely say
Um,
that that had a lot to
because
do with it.
he's definitely emoting a lot more.
But he starts fighting this guy, and this guy is just announcing everything he can do with his, aura and his,
Yeah,
I call it Nin, but
yeah,
he's just announcing everything
It-
he can
it-
do, and Mob just says, but he doesn't say, he's just like One Punch Man. Like, he just,
yeah, man.
he
He just
blasts
fucking
through
comes
his
in.
fucking shield of armor and says, "Are you
Yeah,
gonna keep talking, or are you gonna tell me what I need to know?" And I'm like, but oh my god.
yeah.
This scene was so cool. And he's
Um,
like, "Oh, you didn't know? We were on our way to murder your family. So somebody got to you
yeah.
before we did." So
Uh-huh.
that was the wrong
Um,
question.
Meanwhile, way before this, Teru also gets attacked, and his place gets fucking blown
Yeah,
up.
Teru got attacked. Reagan's building got attacked. But
Yeah.
we get swapped over to another scene where Mob finds the other guys. And
hmm
Mob goes into the building, still what's stuck in 100% Rage Mob. Um, and it's just a room full of very, very, very familiar faces. Team
Yeah.
Scar is back. Um,
Yeah.
dude, but in order for uh, him to find out where they're at, they meet Mob in a car, and Mob gets in the car with them, and Mob
Dude,
says,
Koyama, Koyama, dude, can we talk about how Koyama fucking just pulls a fucking Tokyo Drift like fucking Initial D
dude, it was so
shit?
sick. Like it
He
was just
fucking
like
drifts in.
it fucking
Yeah, no, I just wanted
mattered
to make
though.
sure
Like
to do this because they didn't just drive up and pick Mob up. They fucking drifted in.
get in, like just get in. So
Yeah.
he drifts in. Mob gets in the car. They get halfway down the road, and Mob's like, "Okay, so where's my family?" And they're like, "I don't know." And Mob just stops the car with his psychic energy, like Hellboy mode, like red means stop kind of scene.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Then what am I doing, wasting my time here?" So he takes the car and Harry
Yeah.
Potter's it back over to the group.
Yeah.
And he walks
It's
inside, and Reagan starts seeing Mob at 100% for the first time ever. I don't know if you knew this or
yeah.
not. He finally sees Mob at
hmm
100% in this one scene. Um, and Reagan, being the mega Chad that he is, talks Mob down by assuring him that the
Yeah.
bodies were fake. Um,
Yeah.
and immediately Mob just passes out.
Yeah, like that's how much Bob looks up to Reagan. Is that just the words of Reagan alone, like Bob trusts it.
Yeah.
Like Dimple, he wasn't sure with Dimple, so he wasn't able to calm down. But as soon as he heard it from Reagan,
Oh,
he was like,
dude.
"Shit, I can actually calm down now."
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, Mob is fucking like just super shell shocked.
Yeah, he just passes the fuck out, just dead.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but Reagan's in basic denial of what's going on as well.
Yeah.
But Team Mob is being involved in a further moving terrorist torture information unit.
Yeah, man.
And we get some
He's
more
fucking the
fucking
guy,
torture.
the dude who fucking attacks him. He just brings back with him,
This
and
was
they
Terry, by the
waterboard.
way, the guy who attacked Terry.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and then fucking Tarada is like, Tarada's getting some catharsis from this because endured the same thing that this fucking guy did.
yeah, he starts having like flashbacks
Yeah,
of what's going
uh,
on.
but
We get some more
we find
bucket
out that
torture.
yeah, we find out that basically that basically Claw as an organization has basically gone full nuclear, and they're wanting to try to the first step is they're trying to take out all of the Claw deserters of the Seventh Division,
Yeah.
because all of the scars have basically turned tail, and they're like, yeah, no, fuck this organization.
Yeah. I really want to note in this scene where they go up in front of all these people, like all of the members of the
Yeah,
organization, and we get introduced to Hidori. Um, Hidori is I noted it just like this. Hidori is the Discord mob that your girlfriend told you not to worry about. He's I just man, this dude is just nothing but a giant fucking nerd. He uses his energy to control
oh no,
like
it's
technology.
Hattori.
Is it Hattori? I
Hattori.
thought it was Hadori.
No, Hattori. That could have be in
Whatever.
the
The Discord mod
that could
guy.
have yeah. He's got a pigeon on his shirt.
Yeah. But
And yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought that was
So I
really
guess this is what
cool.
we're moving to the what the rest of the episode basically is, which is the boss of Claw, the big man himself, declaring war,
Yeah. And
and this shit's pretty good.
and basically like the rest of the episode is just some big like whose dick is bigger swinging contest between the spies
Yeah,
who infiltrated the organization and the upper
yeah,
echelon of the organization itself, of
hmm,
Claw. So we get
yeah,
introduced to the people who are wanting to do a mutiny, and
yeah,
so we get introduced to Purple Smoke. I call him Purple Smoke.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So we're introduced to Joseph, who's the smoke guy. Udo, who's the weird person. They look like both sort of simultaneously male and female. I don't know who it is, but the name's Udo. And we got Miguel, who's the our pink haired big fucking nose man.
yeah, big nose man.
Yeah, and basically, so I want to talk a little bit about this fucking plan that Claw has. So their plan is they're going to start their world domination plan and basically declare war against the world. And they're going to start in Japan.
Yeah,
And their whole entire plan is, with all of our psychics, we're going to overwhelm the police force so we just basically crumble the government.
yeah,
And that shit's
pretty
just like
much.
so fucking diabolical, like especially because of the power level a lot of these people are on, that they can overpower most military slash riot police. Like that shit's like pretty fucking
Yeah, but
diabolical.
within the last little bit of these like this episode,
Yeah,
we get introduced to some really interesting characters. We get
yeah,
introduced to Male Ivy. We get
yeah.
introduced to Umbrella Corp.
Umbrella. Umbrella.
We get introduced to Meathead. And then
Oh
Keanu
yeah,
Reeves and fucking Self is in here.
yeah,
So it's time to take over the Prime Minister. Um, Basically, Keanu Reeves takes the Prime Minister.
yeah.
Like I said, there's just a bunch of like
Dude,
really cool scenes at the end of this.
Shima, there's a lot we're gonna talk about fucking Shimazaki later on. I can tell
Oh,
because this
most
fucking shit
definitely. But at the beginning of
is
it, we
like,
get this sick Naruto takes on Keanu Reeves fight.
yeah,
Keanu Reeves just has to
but
bust out the Byakugan on fucking crack.
yeah,
Uh,
dude. So Shimazaki slash, as you put it, Keanu Reeves. He's blind, but he had his reflex. He basically can sense and predict what people are going to do
which
around him.
is
It seems like
fucking crazy.
dude is like a roided up daredevil,
He really is. Like, he's Daredevil with
and
superpowers. Like,
yeah, and he can teleport as well.
he can
That's the other
teleport.
thing.
He
He can
can he
teleport.
can just fucking teleport because he
Yeah.
wants to. Like, he feels like
Mhm.
it.
But as long as he's aware of it, he can sense a person's emotions, motives, predict what they're going to do, like all this ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
And on top, he's super fucking agile, and also, dare I say, the man fucking teleports.
He just fucking
But yeah,
teleports. It's crazy.
the
Oh,
Smoking Man and his crew get fucked by the other top five
oh
as
yeah.
well. But no, the Shimazaki is fucking a fucking beast. But sadly, Teru is just no match against him at this point.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No fucking chance. He tries to, take
Yeah,
the prime minister and hold off on time, but no. He just gets I put in here Naruto uses his new abilities but gets humbled by the true talent and the truly breathtaking gut punch of Keanu.
hell yeah, man.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
Hell yeah.
He just punches him in
Anyways,
the
I
gut.
gotta
Just
go.
super
I gotta
hard.
go record my lines for Cyberpunk 2077. See you later, fucker.
Just teleports out of the fucking scene, dude. And that brings us into
That's
episode
to
10.
episode 10.
Hell
The
yeah.
Prime
So,
Minister has been kidnapped.
dude.
Oh shit.
Oh damn! In the
They're
state,
going the full
we're
Metal
now
Gear Solid
into
now.
we're now into state of emergency.
Yeah, man. The Claw Boss is a simple man. He loves his rice omelets.
So they're in
Because he's
this.
like, yo,
They're in the Seattle Space Needle of Japan.
yeah. Mhm.
And they're just talking about world domination.
Yeah, and they're like, yo, did you pick this place because it provides a good cover of the area? And he's like, nah, man. Rice
They
omelets.
have the best rice omelets I've ever had in my entire life. And he's basically telling them like, hey, I was born here. This is my hometown. But fuck them, beat them up. I don't give a damn.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they're just going all over their plans about taking over the entire world by taking over this one section of Japan at this one point in time.
Yeah.
And it swaps over to the I call it the Mob Squad.
Yeah.
Which is Scar, Terry, Reagan, all of them all together. And they're all just butthurt.
Yeah.
They're very much hurting from what just happened. Everybody is starting to doubt Mob. For some reason, they're doubting Mob's abilities to beat the fuck out of this man.
Yeah. And all this going, Reagan's just like, yeah, we should probably just leave it to the police.
Yeah, let's just leave it to the police. And everybody's just like, you're a coward.
Meanwhile, earlier, the police get fucked up by a bunch of foot soldiers throwing fucking buildings and shit at them.
Just getting hammered. But
and I don't think the police are going to help much, Reagan.
Exactly.
Because they haven't seen the broadcasts yet, because they have cut off all their TVs and whatnot. So they're just talking about what the game plan is.
But Reagan ends up swapping sides as soon as he figures out that he gets a little phone call from the insurance company.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's the one thing that causes him to turn around. Like, you know what? No, let's go in. Let's do this. Is because his insurance gets denied.
His insurance gets denied on his building because a psychic blew it up, and they've never had to deal with that situation before.
And he has to prove that a psychic that he basically has to bring the person to the insurance office.
So he gets all fired up, and he's like, "Let's go defeat these nerds." and they come up with this really cool plan. But as all this is happening, we get a flashback over to. It's not really a flashback, but kind of a flashback. We get caught up with Ritsu and I can't remember his
In
name.
the show.
Sho.
Show.
Um, so basically, what's going on is Sho is, which I think this was in the previous episode,
It was. It kind of was. There was like a scene where like Ritsu was talking with
but
Show,
Sho
and it's
is
like Show.
just trying to overtake his father and stop his
Yeah, he's
father
like,
from
yo, fuck
taking
my
over the
dad.
world. He's basically going through a little rebellious phase that he doesn't like his dad and
Yeah,
he wants to fuck up all of his
he's like,
plans
yo,
and
I
um
want to fuck up my dad. I got my Overwatch squad here. We're gonna, well, that's what they are. The way because we'll see later on. You know, they got one that's offensive, one that's supportive,
yeah, they
one
really
that's
do.
defensive.
But either way, we get his plan of just running and defeating his dad, and then we get
Yeah,
another plan, which I call it the Harry Potter decoy squad. Uh,
yeah,
so Reagan has this really cool idea to send empty cop cars through the air towards the enemies, which are the little foot soldiers of Claw,
yeah.
and obviously
Mhm.
it's just a big red herring to keep them busy long enough for them to carry on so the Killer Croc squad can track
Yeah,
through the
man.
sewers. And I call them the Croc squad because they're going through the sewers.
They're going through the sewers, sewer gators.
But
Uh, but
unfortunately
Takeuchi
everything,
comes in.
which is Ivy, um is it? No, wait.
And Takeuchi's the Mr. Popo's cousin
That's
because he
right.
comes in to help with their decoy plan.
Yeah, so the decoy plan, he's only got Terry or Teru or whatever you want to call him. He's Terry to me and he will always be
Yeah,
Terry to me. But
yeah,
Terry is literally lifting 4 squad cars by himself and is starting to squeeze all of his limit out of him. And
yeah.
in comes Master Popo's baby cousin and ends up
It's
helping
his
him
cousin.
out.
Yeah.
So
Uh, but the plant guy, the poison ivy fucker, show squad are currently fighting,
yeah, the Killer Quack squad.
and
Uh,
no. Show squad, the Killer Croc squad is
oh,
doing something
you're
entirely different.
right.
Show squad is fighting Minagishi
Yeah, so the show squad's
at this moment.
fighting Minagishi. Um, Minagishi is Ivy, by the way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
The plant fucker.
I put in here Team Carnivores versus Fuck Vegans. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, I basically put Team Carnivores said Fuck Vegans,
yeah. Hell yeah.
and
Um,
we find out through all of this
you know,
bullshit that's going on, Reagan stayed behind with Mob,
yeah.
and but we're kind of moving through fast a little bit. Is there any
Yeah.
tidbits that you want to add?
No,
Like,
other than that, shows at first it seems Show Squad is quite capable, but they get fucked over pretty easily.
oh yeah, dude, they get
But before that,
fucked.
they do some pretty impressive shit.
Dude, they do this like really awesome like combo move that
Yeah,
they ended up using.
yeah,
That he could just, but unfortunately they're fighting Ivy, which can just keep
yeah,
recreating plants to no end.
yeah. He can
Um,
do it to a ridiculous extent that just overpowers them.
but
But anyways, back to the sequence with Ray. What's going on with Reagan? Reagan's laying back with Mob. Mob's in his coma.
again, still,
Um,
I say again, but
and
still,
Claw infiltrates, and Reagan's like, "Oh shit, we gotta fucking hide."
yeah. Um, so somehow Claw finds Mob. I really don't get how that happened, but
I don't think they find Mob. They find where the scars have been hiding. It just so happens Mob is there.
yeah, maybe so. But
Yeah, because it's
um,
right because because part of the thing that they're doing is they're trying to hunt down all the scars as well.
yeah, which this like next few scenes are really cool. So
Yeah,
it bleeds into it bleeds into Reagan's helping Mob by hiding in a freezer but the Claw comes
Hmm.
in, they bust open the freezer, and Reagan somehow, how he always gets out of these fucking things are just, oh my god, like
Hmm.
what the
But yeah,
shit,
he's trying to hide from Red Hulk. He's playing Outlast. But sadly, the
man.
fucker found him. And what
So
is Reagan's response to being confronted with this massive hulking mass of rage and muscle?
he looks a lot like the crap. What's their names?
Are you going to see the Goliaths
The
from
Goliaths
Borderlands?
from Borderlands. He
Yeah,
looks
he looks like
exactly
like one
like
of
him.
the leveled up versions of them where they turn all red.
Yeah, man. So like Reagan uses, which is really cool drawback from a previous episode, uses the spray that he stole from Toy Sword Man. I can't remember his name.
Sakurai.
Sakurai. He stole Sakurai's psychic spray, and which
Yeah,
puts all psychics to sleep. And he sprays this man in the face, and just down he goes. He just falls to the
yeah.
ground.
Hmm.
Somehow, Reagan wins again until
Yeah.
he gets back up.
Um, until he gets back up. Um, I do want to mention that there is like a small little side scene I found very interesting, and it's with the boss. It's between the boss. It cuts to this very small scene between the boss and Serizawa, who's the umbrella guy, Mr. Umbrella Corporation.
Okay.
Um, and he's basically we get this scene where we see the boss is like super fucking cold, and he's like in his and he has this whole monologue where the entire point of it is like he's trying to harden Serizawa even more,
Yeah, this was
and it's just
after
really
this was after this scene, like with Reagan and all that.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like the first knockout happens and the scene happens and then
Yeah,
it comes back to yeah. So, but yeah, dude fucking gets up
yeah.
and shit's looking bad because I
Uh,
mean shit this dude like only goes to sleep for a few seconds. Like damn, we can't fucking escape with this shit.
so Dimple ends up saving Mob essentially.
Yeah.
So Reagan gets thrown across the planet by Red Hulk, and then Mob's just laying
Uh,
on the ground, and Red Hulk walks up to him and is about to like just crush him, and
it's about
then
to fucking break him like a fucking toothpick.
exactly, and then in comes Dimple. Dimple takes over Mob's body and flips him out of there, and
Dude,
basically,
Dimple gets play of the game this episode.
dude, Dimple is the sickest Chad ever on the planet. He's like a form of Echo from
Yeah.
Overwatch, if you really think
Yeah,
about
dude, he's
it.
fucking yeah. This episode gave Dimple a lot of good moments,
Oh yeah, like,
but
well, kind of in
yeah,
unison to other characters, sure.
hmm
But Dimple is running through the city trying to get Red Hulk away from Mob, and Mob he ends up trying to protect Mob's crush because she's sitting in the middle
yeah,
of the city, and Dimple's like, he'll never forgive me if I let her get hurt. So he blocks this man,
hmm
and then he shit whips Mob's body into the air so
yeah,
hard
dude,
that he makes Dimple escape from
yeah,
Mob's body, and Mob just flies out of the
yeah,
fucking disc.
dude. It's not just like a shit whip. It's a fucking punch. This dude, he
Dude,
fucking punches
it
him.
wasn't him in the gut or something like that. Like,
I think it was like in the gut. He gets fucking Doctor Strange soul punched.
dude, it was sick. It was pretty
Yeah, but
bad.
the idea of this dude being able to punch someone so hard that he can knock a spirit out of a person,
Yeah.
it's fucking ridiculous and great.
But after this, Mob's body
Um,
goes flying off in the distance, and it cuts us over to back over to um completely back over to where Terry and them get confronted by more members of Claw, I think it was.
yeah,
And
yeah, I think so.
Tirada is trying to swap teams.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty much it, a little snippet of that, and then it cuts over to another scene
Hmm.
of Keanu Reeves sabotaging.
Dude, the
Um,
dude. So the dude walks down fucking walls.
I know he like basically just walks down the wall and is sideways. It's like watching somebody enter a washing machine or a dryer.
Yeah, dude. And
And
why this guy shouldn't? This they had no reason making this guy as fucking cool as he
dude,
is.
this man is so ama- like so amazing. But
Hmm.
you know, a little short scene of him popping out and then
Yeah,
back over to Mob super quick. It's just so many
back
like
of the
bam, bam,
mod.
bam
There's so
transitions.
many. There's so many little seats. There's so many things happening all
Dude,
at once.
so many things are happening at one
Hmm.
time. And
Uh, so you think mob being flung in the air would be pretty bad, if he lands into Crunk, where he could just become like a basically mob tomato paste. But thankfully,
the
he landed in
Tomo
the
squad,
arms of the Tomo
the
Squad.
Tomo squad is always there for Mob, dude.
They are,
I don't see how he gets away
and
with it. But
this is probably my favorite scene, with
God,
anything to do
dude.
with the Tomo Squad.
This was
So I'll
such
let
a
you take it
dope.
away.
No, no, no. This is your favorite scene. This is all you, buddy.
Oh no, you go. I've had a good amount of time explaining certain scenes with episode 7 and whatnot.
Okay, all right. So basically, what
I'll give
happens?
it to you.
Mob lands inside of inside of the captain's arms, and he's just like,
Yeah,
"Why is Kageyama falling from the sky?" He's just like,
yeah,
but all of a sudden, in comes Red Hulk, and he's like, "Did you do this to?
uh-huh,
Did you do this to Kageyama? I will mess you up." But the captain gets humbled really quickly. He gets
yeah,
fucking shit whipped into the wall. But as the captain
yeah,
gets shit whipped, we get to see all of the members of the Tomo squad showing off their moves. We get to see the
yeah,
shadow punches again of
yeah. Tenga goes
from
in.
Tengo.
Everybody has a
Yeah,
turn,
everybody has a
but they all get
turn, but
fucked.
they all get shit whipped. And then all of a sudden, after everybody gets shit whipped, Red Hulk's walking over to Mob's body and is about to step on his head. And then as he goes
Hmm.
to step on Mob's head, in comes the captain. And the captain is sitting
Hmm.
there holding this man's foot from
Yeah,
crushing Mob. And this scene is so dynamic and
dude,
amazing.
it's so emotional as well.
He says Kageyama doesn't deserve to be stepped on. And he goes on this huge spiel about how important Kageyama is and how amazing he is and how
Yeah,
dedicated he is to
hmm,
everybody and everything that he does. And
yeah.
as he's explaining all this man's getting pushed into the ground so
He
hard
even
that
gets to the
his
point that he's like, he even gets to the point where it's like, I'd rather die than let you step on Kageyama.
and then
And
rages
it's just,
out, pops up, launches Red Hulk off of him. And how do we find out that he can do this? Dimple.
fuck,
Dimple saves the
fucking
day
Dimple.
again.
Yeah.
Dimple possessed
Hmm.
the captain. And but as this is going on, they're just having this huge fucking like meathead fight. And they're throwing
Yeah.
punches at each other, but the coolest scene ever, he grabs this man and uppercuts this dude. And as he's saying this,
Yeah.
Dimple says, "Yeah, psychic muscles are cool and all, but they're no match for what
For
real
real
muscles can
muscles.
do."
Yeah.
This man
That's the interesting thing.
uppercuts. Go ahead.
Sorry. That's the interesting thing about this scene that I really like is that there's this idea that so Shibata, his strength is impressive and whatnot, but it's all just because that's just how his psychic powers work. They just enhance his muscle,
Yeah, it's
but they're
basically
not
all it
like
is.
100%.
It's kind of
Like
like
he's not 100% built.
yeah,
Like he's like moderately strong. Like he's pretty buff,
he's kind of like
but
Sugar
most of his strength,
Rush from My Hero
yeah.
Academia.
Mhm. But most of his strength comes from his psychic powers. But with Musashi, he's just built. He is sculpted.
He's the pinnacle of what a
So
human man should look like.
when Dimple goes in to strengthen him, the effect is 10 times more effective than what Shibata's
Muscles.
muscles would be.
Yeah, so it's absolutely incredible that
Yeah.
that the captain uppercuts this man into the sky and just lands him on the ground. And then out comes Dimple, and then the captain gets the heave hose, and
Yeah.
everybody's celebrating, and the captain's like, I did that?
What?
I did
He's like, what did
that?
I do? Uh-huh.
But
But
this
yeah.
this red bitch gets back up off the ground. I'm just like, how much can this man withstand? Which I guess it's all
Uh-huh.
adrenaline. So I guess adrenaline is
Yeah.
just such a powerful
He's just literally
essence of,
powering through it.
pretty much that's all it is. And then, but basically he gets back up, but Mob brings it back, baby. He wakes up and
Yeah.
he's just like, it's time. It's time to fuck this guy to pieces, dude. So
Uh-huh.
he just fucks him up. It's plain and simple. He's gone. He's just gone.
Mhm.
No more meet him.
Yeah.
Which brings us over
Uh-huh. Oh,
to Ritsu's scene with Sho.
yeah.
Um,
Before we carry on, I did want to say I really fucking love with the scene where Goda is holding back Shibata and is having his whole spiel. There's something about it that really hit me where it's like he's talking about like the body improvement squad are already like pretty confident, but the fact he mentions that like um Mob has left such a profound effect on them and even inspires them to even like strive to be better than what they already are.
yeah, that's
Like he
so
provides
cool.
some extra, it's so profound and like great. Like this like wimpy kid who they know Mob can't like has his limits and is working towards bettering himself. That tenacity like inspires them further to better themselves even further.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking good. I love it. So, anyways, back to what you were
Uh,
talking about.
Essentially, the end of the episode is Sho and Ritsu holding off Ivy long enough for Sho to get to. No, 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 no,
Hmm.
no, no, no. This is the, or is it the next episode that this
I think it's the
happens?
next episode because I think it ends with Mob waking back up and fucking up Red Hulk.
No, because I say Sho made it to his dad's tower. Okay, yeah. So he holds
Oh,
off
so
Ivy long enough for Sho to get to the tower. And
yeah, that's what it
the
is.
episode ends with Sho being at the bottom of the tower, and it leads us into episode
Yeah,
11.
that's what it is.
Um,
Okay.
and then it pops us over to where Terry ends up fucking up those little
Haru
members.
and all them.
They
Yeah,
fuck up the members of Scar, and
yeah.
they had
Dude,
to go
the
ahead.
kids have improved.
They have. They 100% have improved.
Hmm.
Anyway.
The fucking Hoshino and Asahi like fucking combine their psychokinesis and pyrokinesis together, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome what they just do in this scene.
Yeah.
But it cuts us over to Ritsu ends up getting away from the Ivy fight.
Yeah.
And Ritsu bumps into Keanu and they start having a little fight.
Hmm.
So Ritsu's just trying to fight Keanu by himself. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, Keanu is like Chuck Norris in his dreams.
Yeah.
So, um,
Oh, it's important to mention that this is in front of the tower. Literally, Keanu Reeves is like guarding the front of the tower,
yeah, because Ritsu was following
and
behind Sho.
Ritsu is trying to leave that opening for Sho so Sho can enter,
Yeah, that's
and
basically
he's trying to
what's.
hold back. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's why
the-
Sho gets into the building, and
yeah,
as Sho gets in the building, Ritsu's fighting Keanu, and Keanu is fucking this man up, just fucking Ritsu up terribly.
yeah,
And
yeah, dude.
but as
It's
this is
fucking
happening, it shoots over to Sho, and I have another note. Discord mob gets the John Cena in front of his kittens.
dude. He gets fucking suplexed.
He really does.
The fact, listen, anytime in a piece of media I see a character pull off a suplex, I get super hyped.
Because it's just
Because
such a basic
such,
move that
well,
nobody
it's just such a ridiculous move that no one expects to be used.
and he just shit whips him and just keeps
He
trucking.
fucking,
Oh, but then it cuts back over to another scene with Mob. Uh, with
dude,
these
this thing's really
just
good.
dude, Mob is starting to fuck up just these kids, just fucking these kids, dude.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah,
he's like, do you even realize the basically they're just foot soldiers who are just tearing up a
yeah.
store and busting glass out of a store
They're stealing food.
and Mob at this point is just he's in battle mode. I think he's just
Yeah,
he's like, do you know have any idea like what people have to do to get to where they are without their powers?
yeah.
Could you
Hmm.
actually fix this glass door by yourself?
Hmm.
Could you
Could you grow
actually
the wheat
yeah,
required to make this bread?
like he uses such good like
Yeah.
sensibilities about
Like he puts them in their place and telling them that even though they have these amazing abilities, they can really only take them so far.
right. But
But yeah,
essentially he's about to fuck these guys up.
he's about to fuck.
So
That's what he's about to do.
Ivy shows up. And Ivy starts realizing the magnitude of what Mob is at this point because Mob is
Yeah,
just outpouring with energy. It's insane how much energy this man is pumping out of his body at one time. Um, and then we get the awesome DBZ vegan style fight between
yeah,
Mob and I call him Ivy. Y'all can hold me against it if you
yeah,
want. I'm gonna keep calling him Ivy because I think it's cooler.
yeah,
So they start having this awesome DBZ fight through the air, and this
yeah.
is where we start getting jump scenes between this fight and the Keanu fight. And Bosto, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you describe the Keanu fight, and I'll describe
Okay.
the other fight. So go
Okay.
ahead.
Let me try to see because actually the Keanu because Keanu fights like way later in the notes for this episode. I have a since it sort of happens like before. Let's take care of the Minagishi stuff first, and then we'll go into the Keanu.
Well, no, it's like at this point, it's jumping between. You know what? Let's just
Yeah.
cover one fight at a time, even though it's happening in
Let's
unison.
cover. Let's cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is he's just using his plants in order to try to fuck up Mob, but Mob uses his old technique that he
Yeah.
learned from the Vine Garden
Yeah.
in the very
Yeah.
first episode of season 2.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. Is like he notices that the guy is using basically the same technique that the plant spirit used.
Yeah, and
And he applies like, well, I'll just fucking do like shit again.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'll just keep throwing plants out, and Mob's just like, you don't
Yeah.
really like plants, do you? He's like, I use them as tools. They're my weapons, nothing else.
Mhm.
And then as all this is going down and Mob is starting to get held down, we get another familiar face of Team Scar.
Mr.
Cumjar.
Cumjar.
Mr. Cumjar's back. So he ends up like releasing one of his demons and he cuts away the vines that are finna fuck up Mob. And
Mhm.
all this is happening, and then the foot soldiers end up overtaking Cumjar and stealing the no-no jar.
Mhm.
They steal
the
the no-no jar.
the special cum jar.
Yeah, the no-no jar is off limits to these
His cum
guys.
perfume.
And he says, "Please do not release it. I can't even control it yet. Like, there's nobody on this planet who can control that massive energy." And they don't listen,
Yeah.
so they break it. And out
And
comes Megumi.
Mogami.
Megumi. Who cares?
Megami.
Megami comes out of the
Yeah.
jar and is pissed.
Dude.
He
looks so cool.
He looks so cool coming out of this jar. He comes out and he says, You expect me to spare these people's lives after you trapped me in a jar? As all this is going down, he has already absorbed Ivy's powers. He's absorbed Ivy's just all around plants. Turns into this giant fucking spiral tree, which was so
Yeah.
sick. And he has
Uh-huh.
Ivy in his hand, and he goes to start
Uh-huh.
squishing him, and Mob, being who Mob is, stops him. And he starts telling how he's going to change for the better. And even Ivy admits that he's going to change for the better. And Megami, whatever, Megami
Yeah.
starts asking him, so are you going to follow him around from day to day to see if he actually keeps his word? Humans are always back to their old habits, and everybody is always a creature of habit.
Uh-huh.
And essentially, he says, but I will let you decide that, Mob. And basically just
Yeah.
phases out. We don't really get
Yeah,
any,
he
like,
fully I think it's applied he fully passes on at this point.
I
Like
think he
his
crosses over
spirit's
to
no
the other
longer tied.
side. I think he crosses
Yeah.
over. But we don't really know
Hmm.
for sure. He crosses over to the other side, and Ivy is spared, and all that's left behind is this really magnificent tree. Really,
Yeah.
really pretty, which is kind of makes me wonder or realize that this might be his way of passing on. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much what happens in that fight. And so
Hmm.
let's get into the Keanu fight.
Yeah. But actually, before the Keanu fight, there's actually a small quote unquote fight between Sho and his dad,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and that is he hits it basically Sho hits his dad with the 3 month nut bust,
Dude,
and
he
sadly, and the boss talks has this really interesting thing where he talks about the reason why he traveled the world, and that is he wanted to try to find another psychic that equals his power. But it turns out that it's only him that stands at this moment, that it's only him that stands at that pinnacle.
yeah. So basically, he has
He
this
is,
thought and idea that he is the one and only Esper
mhm,
of power. Like he is the only
yeah,
Esper in the world that is worth anything at all, and that's just his mentality
yeah.
about it.
That's it, and
Um,
that's why he has this philosophy of anybody weaker does not deserve to be in this world.
Pretty much.
And it's really cool. And it brings this whole thing where Sho has this ability where he can store power, and the boss, it turns out that he inherited it from the boss, because the boss also can do that
Yeah,
and has been doing so for the past 20 years.
yeah. He's
Hmm.
it's crazy. Um,
Yeah. So now you can get into Keanu. This is a small side. So we start off, and Keanu basically insults the fucking Scars. He's like, "Yo, you guys are just a bunch of fucking rejects. Like you couldn't even like you fought the boss and failed. You're all just a bunch of failures. We just kept along
yeah,
because
dude.
we could have some use of you."
Keanu's
And
just shitting all over this epic fight scene.
yeah, and while he's talking, this is where we find out an important hole in Keanu's technique, and that is he can dodge. While he can't dodge attacks, he has to know the attack is coming. He has to be aware of where it's coming from.
Yeah,
And in this moment, he takes Teru on a fucking a teleportation beatdown of the century. He is wrecking Teru shit as you're teleporting all across the fucking place.
yeah.
And it's
The,
so fucking nice.
he basically just set up a mega 100 punch combo on Keanu
Yeah,
Reeves.
dude. And they're
Hey,
fucking in the air. They're all over the fucking place.
dude.
And Teru, thankfully, he gets the upper hand on him, and he lines up Keanu for the Wombo combo. Um, However, he decides he's going to concentrate super hard. And this is where his last major ability comes in, and that's concentration. He shuts off basically all of his surroundings so he can focus on very select things, and this causes his reflexes to increase tenfold to the point where like basically time is slowed down.
It is
And
like he
also,
can literally just. It's kind of like in a sense, if you know what Byakugan is, That's basically what it is.
Somewhat.
Um,
And what's cool is his fucking eyes turn red.
no, dude, that
And
was
it's
so
so
fucking awesome. It
so fucking sick.
reminds me of the Ghoul eyes from Tokyo Ghoul.
Like, yeah, it kind of has a
Dude,
similar look.
I love it.
I can see that. However, uh, he's no match for the self defense punch
Mm-mm.
from Reagan.
Reagan, he comes
Reagan's
in
special technique where he yells out self defense before he punches somebody.
self
So he
defense.
does.
He comes in for another
um,
fake out.
yeah, and Mob. It's just very interesting because basically it seems that he can only really sense people of their psychics because that seems how he's able to sense. It's basically sense their like energy.
Yeah.
And when not since Reagan isn't a psychic, he doesn't have any of that energy, so he just completely blindsides them.
Yeah, but at the same time, Keanu is like getting shook because he thinks
Yeah.
that this
So
like he thinks like this man's got so
this
much power that you can't even
this
see
guy's
it. Like,
yeah. And it's like nah. Then Mob comes in
oh my
and
god.
so he comes up and he's talking about Mob's like, well, why do you do this? Why do you hurt people? And the blind man and Keanu fucks up and he says, well, I do it for fun. I could care less about this world domination crap. And at that point, Mob gets super fucking pissed.
He just really made Mob mad
And
just out
it
of nowhere.
causes so much because it's so much in so like I said, so one of Keanu's special abilities is he can sense when he can basically sense the feelings and emotions and everything like that's all part of his prediction powers. Meaning at this moment, he is sensing all of that rage and fury and what Mob can do to him.
And
And
he
all that
dips.
scares him so much that he's just like, nope, and teleports out of the entire anime. He's never seen again.
He's just gone.
He leaves the fucking series.
He's
He's like,
like
no,
he's so scared that he says, "Fuck this existence. I'm out of here."
yeah, I'm out of here. I'm fucking out of here.
But
And so then Mob comes in. Everyone's like, oh, dude, Mob, glad you're back. And Mob is like, I'm gonna go take the boss on alone because you guys are like fucked up, and you're just gonna.
you guys suck. I'm gonna go do this by myself.
You guys
Like,
suck. You guys are injured. You're no good to fight. You guys need to rest up.
and this is like flashbacking back to a scene of how Megami was telling him to
Yeah,
start being hard on people, and this is
yeah.
his way of being hard on his
Of being
friends
hard.
by being
Yeah.
hard, being hard.
Which is,
Um, sorry.
oh, yeah, no. But it's really good. It's a really good
little
little
tidbit,
scene.
little nice scene,
And a
but
little tidbit. But that's the end of episode 11. Now we can come into the final stretch, episodes 12 and 13.
dude, which 12 is pretty much a whole thing by itself, and then
Yeah,
13
this
is where
is
shit breaks off.
that episode
Um,
12 is almost entirely like a character study of Serizawa.
that's basically what it is.
This is what it is. So this entire I think almost the entire thing is the Serizawa encounter.
I think I'm gonna let you explain this because you're better explaining like lore than me. So
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
let
all
you.
right.
I'm gonna let you
All
take
right.
this episode. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so it starts with Mob. So it starts with Mob entering the tower. And at first it's kind of fucked us up because we thought they accidentally skipped ahead a bit. Because I guess in my head I thought it was going to be more so about him ascending the tower, but he's already close to the top. And um, Serizawa just lets the prime minister go. He's like, well, I mean, he's not really needed anymore. And Mob questions him about like, well, why are you doing this? Why are you joined up with the boss? And Serizawa talks about how he met the boss. Basically, Serizawa, his powers scared people. Like he basically is like in it's noted towards the end. He is like he's the inverse of Mob. He's what would happen to Mob if Mob did not know or learn how to control his powers.
Exactly. So like if you took
He,
Mob, grown up, flipped,
mhm.
that would be who this is.
That's Serizawa. And so Serizawa his powers would come out during emotional outbursts, and it would either hurt people or scare people. He was outcasted, and in response to that, he's basically secluded himself for most of his adult life. That
Exactly.
is until the boss came in,
Came into the picture.
and the boss basically tells him that I understand, and we will create a new world where you don't have to live in that fear.
Right.
And
The
he
fucking umbrella analogy.
and then the umbrella thing as well. So it's like he's like, well, he's like, you can come with me, and he's like, well, I can't even leave because I get basically the stress and anxiety causes him to get super dizzy and nauseous. And then the boss was like, well, you know what, you can always keep out the rain, and he hands him an umbrella.
Just
And
that
this
seems
umbrella
so
has
good.
so much emotion attached to it. It's a psychological shield, basically, the key to protect Sarazawa. He knows as long as he has his umbrella, he is safe.
And let's just talk
And it's
about
so
this man is dummy mode strong.
yeah,
Like he's got the
yeah,
Goku
he's ridiculously
strength.
strong.
He's got the Goku
He is
strength.
he has
Um,
so much potential and whatnot, but he doesn't see that potential he has because of his past, and he only slightly realizes it, and he thinks that his powers can really only be used in service of the boss.
yeah,
And there's even one thing where he mentions earlier where he's like, the boss isn't that bad of a guy. He even made sure the city was vacated before we started our attack, um, and whatnot. So here's where we get the epic fight, and it there's one thing in this fight I really love, and and it shows how far Mob has come, because the fucking Umbrella Man hits him, and Mob fakes being hurt to throw the dude off guard. And that's like a major step for Mob, because Mob usually doesn't make use of like deception or anything like that, but in this fight he does. Um, and this causes him to freak the fuck out.
this man goes
And Mob,
on a just. He's got issues that tissues just cannot deal with. Like this man
yeah,
is got problems. When he takes this umbrella from this
hmm
man, he
he
goes,
starts
woo,
fucking freaking out so bad, and to the point where all this energy is gathering around him. He's about to basically fucking explode.
man.
And but he is so without this umbrella, like I said, this umbrella is a shield. It keeps him anchored from having a complete breakdown.
Yeah.
Um, and his fast is so fucked, and his mental state is so fucked. He starts charging up. He starts what I say. He starts charging up a damn spirit bomb. And
Like
there's and this. That's why he's fucking charging up. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up with this.
I'm gonna kill you.
And Mob, and I love in this scene in particular, as it is charging up, Mob has a whole lot more emotion in his voice than normal.
Well, it's because
Which, so, yeah,
it's because he's finally like seen somebody he can
yeah, relate to.
relate to for the first time.
Yeah, yeah, and he has so much emotion in his voice, and this sort of shows how far he's come. And he offers, he's like, "Yo, like we could be friends. Like I don't want to do this." And at this point, 100 hits,
Oh man.
and
And
Mob, all that, because the energy that the dude's building up is all his sadness, basically.
yeah.
It's all of his sadness and anxiety. All those negative emotions are building up into this explosive release that's about to happen. And when Mob hits 100, he absorbs all of that sad energy and
And
basically gives the dude a fucking recap of the entire series up to this point.
pretty much.
To like show him, like he basically shows like, here, this is what my life is and how I turned out.
Yeah.
And that allows Sarazawa to see that Mob is indeed a kindred spirit, that they have a lot in common. And that it's just such a good fucking fight. It's not even that much of a fight.
It's really not.
It's more of a
It's a
conversation.
conversation that
It's
gets
a
a little bit out of
conversation.
hand. So after
Yeah.
all this has happened and he finally calms him down, he's sitting on the staircase talking to him. Like Nothing
Hmm.
happened. And just basically telling him that he's got a friend and he doesn't need
Yeah.
the umbrella to stay safe. And that
Yeah.
brings us into one of the most epic fucking fight scenes
Yeah.
ever that goes from here all the way through episode fucking
Yeah.
13.
Hmm. I
Holy
love.
shit.
I fucking I love what we learn about the boss after this fight.
Oh, me too. Because
So
we finally figure out why he's so fucking strong and shit.
yeah.
Uh, so basically, Mob walks up and he finds that Show's on the ground and that his dad just fucked him up. And
Hmm.
Mob, he basically, he just like trying to cooperate with the man. He's essentially just trying
Hmm.
to end all of it through a more positive means and a more uh, like trying to say, hey, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Let's end this now. And basically offers the man a hand to be friends. And
Yeah.
this man is just so self centered and just so over the top and ignorant and ridiculous and just, oh, he's
Yeah.
just so selfish. Um,
Uh,
Instead of
dude,
shaking
I
his hand,
mhm.
he starts just try to he starts catching those hands. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And there's one thing I fucking love is that at this point, Mob is like even pointing out to us like, dude, it sounds like you haven't grown at all. It sounds like, in fact, you've just regressed.
Pretty much.
Because the boss is like talking about how much like, oh, I've grown. Look at all this power I've amassed, all this influence I wield, and it's just like, well, it sounds like you just like burned all your bridges for a very. He's like basically almost pulling a Reagan on him,
Yeah. So like,
where he's just telling him how it is.
what's really cool about when they're talking at this point, I really love the whole like Mob talking about all of his friends and the friend panel in the background.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
loved that little panel that happened. But
yeah. That's good.
essentially,
Uh,
he starts trying to fight him,
mhm.
and this man is fucking Mob up hard.
Yeah.
He is fucking shit whipping him into
Mhm.
no end. We get a gruesome scene of him holding Mob up by his head, beaten to a
Yeah.
fucking pulp. He turns Dimple into a pancake and sends him flying out the
Yeah,
window.
dude. He fucking punts him.
And
Tur- Turns
God,
Dimple into
dude,
paper.
at and then as all this is going down, Reagan shows up,
Yeah.
and it annoys the absolute shit out of me what happens next. Um,
Yeah.
Reagan comes up and Reagan's in Pokemon mode tries to use Intimidate,
Yeah.
and
He's got his gun. He's
Reagan
got
has his
Sakurai's gun.
fucking gun, and he's just trying to play the power play, and
Yeah.
he gets oh my gosh, it's hard to explain. So as he's trying to talk all this down, Mob gets up and he says, "I've had enough." He starts to threaten Reagan, pushes him up against a railing, and the scene that happens next, Mob goes to question mark mode,
Yeah.
and it cuts to a panel of the boss being shivered by how much power
Yeah.
is coming out of Mob. Oh, just that cool little transition panel. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the part where it goes from
Yeah.
like the animation, the beautiful animation, to just brick mode, to where he starts
Yeah.
getting shivers and just spine chilling
Hmm.
moments because of that. Well, the first time he tries to hit Reagan, uh, what was his name? The umbrella guy.
Sarazawa.
Sarazawa steps in, stops this huge fucking explosion. Um,
Yeah. Oh, there's one
And
thing you forgot to mention that is Reagan's fucking sucker punch.
oh, dude, he did. He
He tried
punched him in
because
the
that's the
fucking
entire thing. That's the
face,
entire
dude.
thing is like as he's talking his bullshit and they're like getting closer to the boss. Like the boss is like at first like interested. He's like, "Oh, well, if you have all this great power, I'd love to see it."
I'd like to see
And at that
what you would
point,
use.
he he gets close enough to punch. He gets in punching distance of the boss and tries to sucker punch him. But the boss like fuck, it's like almost turns into like almost like a dummy or something. Like it's this really cool effect. And the boss turns out is like was like one step ahead of Reagan,
Yeah,
and what Reagan was talking with was like a decoy,
it's
and it's just fucking insane.
it really fucking is.
But yeah,
Um,
Sarazawa saves Reagan.
Sarazawa saves Reagan, but Mob doesn't realize it, and Mob goes ballistic, and this is his question mark
Yeah,
mode, and
yeah, he's big
Reagan,
mad.
and then he goes to try to do a second explosion on Reagan and Sarazawa because Sarazawa basically just betrayed him. And he
Yeah,
goes to, at this point, his umbrella is obliterated from all the power that he
yeah,
used. Uh, and Mob shifts like instant transmissions in front of this explosion and blocks every minuscule amount of power this man puts out and
hmm
pushes Reagan and Sarazawa down on the ground. And it was
yeah,
all part of a coy and a plan to uplift and uproot the building that they're in. to
hmm
basically get. I'm trying to formulate my words. I'm sorry. Um,
it's all good.
he comes up with this plan to get everybody on the ground so that he can lift the tower off of the ground and use all of his power. Mob is wanting to use
Yeah,
every ounce of his power to help this man or try to get this man out of the state that he is in, which is so cool to me
yeah,
that Mob thinks
hmm
about this. But he
hmm
gets the building off of the ground and he says, "Now I'm going to show you what I can really do." And it cuts into the next episode. And
yeah,
man,
dude.
I was not prepared for what we
For
were about to see the next time.
Um, so I want to mention that so the fight that goes on here is like over 8 minutes long. It's fucking insane from start to finish. It's
Yeah,
fuck.
from literal start to
Mhm.
fucking finish.
So
Um,
before we start with it, I want to preface with because we kind of glossed over it a little bit, but I want to just sort of break down real quick how exactly what exactly the boss's powers are. So the boss we discussed first that the boss can store his power and has been doing so for 20 years, over 20 years.
he goes from
But
place to place storing
yeah,
other people's
hmm
energy.
yeah, he stores other. He basically can take other people's powers. He's kind of like an all for one type deal almost. Um, but also he can transfer his power to other people. So like all the artificial psychics that we thought were created through their experiments, like no, they're like they actually abandoned those experiments a long time ago. And he just was like, yo, just have some of my power. And it's just that's what he does. He's fucking insanely strong, and we're about to see the fucking throwdown of a century that happened.
Yeah, this fight
So,
is
so
absolutely
episode 13. Most of this
insane.
episode is fight. So we're gonna talk a shit ton about this fucking fight. All right,
Um,
you want to take it?
so basically, he gets him up in the air, and holy shit, this whole fight scene's incredible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he goes to use all of his fucking power, and at the beginning of it, he's still getting his shit pushed in. This man is just
Yeah,
overpowering him from the beginning of the fight till now. Is still overpowering Mob, and we get this really, really as the fight is going on. And I'm just going to talk about it right now. As the fight is moving on, and as they're just doing these crazy, bombastic insanely powerful moves, it's showing a percentage counter. But no, this isn't
Yeah,
any kind of percentage counter. This ain't Mob's percentage counter.
yeah,
This is the boss's percentage counter
yeah.
of his
It's his.
growth
It's his.
to 100%.
Yeah, it's his power. It's basically how much power he's letting out. So he's like slowly letting it out. So it first starts off. It's like I think it starts off at like 10 or 20%,
Yes. And as this is
and
moving on, Mob is just, he's still at 100.
uh,
Or I think he's in question mark mode. And
so
it's something, but Mob is going
he's
fucking
basically
ape
in
shit.
rage mode.
He's going ape
Yeah,
shit, pretty
and
much.
the boss is also the boss has lost it, and Mob is also starting to lose it
Yeah, he's starting to
because as they're
get.
fighting,
Go ahead.
Mob starts like laughing and shit as they're going. It's like the boss is like, "You're starting to enjoy this too, aren't you?" And it's so fucking good. Like they both have like given over to their emotions basically, and are
Yeah,
throwing the fuck down.
yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what they're doing. They are, and when we say bombastic, we mean the most insane things that we've seen so far. And if you've watched the anime and you've seen the Mogami fight,
I
this
ain't got
is
nothing on this.
10 times better than that fight. This man's
This
over here
fucking
grabbing,
insane.
destroying the rest of what's left of the city, grabbing buildings, crushing people into buildings. Mob at this point had given up on trying to save this man from himself and then fucking him up. So
Yeah,
he's
fucking
chasing this
throwing.
man across the city. They're exchanging blows of exponential amounts of fucking power.
Yeah,
This man gets crumbled inside of a huge mass of buildings by Mob.
yeah, dude, they're throwing fucking buildings, forms a little
And
fucking building sphere.
at
All this
this
shit's going down.
and at this point, the boss's energy has disappeared. The moment he gets
Yeah,
collapsed inside of these buildings,
yeah.
everybody
It
thinks
fades for a
Mob did
second.
it. Mob saved the day. But no. The boss
No.
transforms into something even beyond what he was already in. He reached his full 100% of his power. And he
Yeah,
turns into this most insane,
yeah, dude.
built up, muscular, white, just humongous, glowing
Dude, his
beast
suit's
of
ripped, but
energy.
he still has the fucking tie.
It's
It looks so fucking
crazy.
cool.
So he launches Mob and just launches Mob in such a way that the amount of energy that he
Yeah,
uses to punch Mob, it splits into four directions and
yeah,
just crosses through them. It's
uh-huh.
it's so crazy. And then we get to the
Yeah,
scene to where they're trapped underneath and
yeah,
they're inside of this basic, just everybody's outside trying to figure out what happened to Mob
yeah,
and this other guy, but they're underneath and this man's about to fucking burst. He's stored
yeah.
so much energy that his body
hmm
cannot physically
He's
withstand the amounts of power that he is
this
using.
this man is a walking nuke at this point.
He really is. And at this point he's exposed so much power out through his body that he is going
hmm
to blow up.
Yeah,
So Mob rushes out, tells everybody to get the fuck out because shit's about
yeah.
to go
Get out
down.
of here.
So as they're running away, because if Mob come at me saying run away, you best believe I'm running the
Yeah,
fuck away. Everybody starts running, and then Mob disappears. And when
yeah.
everybody gets a good safe distance
Um,
away, they're trying to figure out where it went. But Mob went back.
dude, I want to note real quick that Mob fucking twists this dude like a pretzel at one point.
He really does. This
And
it
dude, it's so fucking like brutal looking. I also noted like because like the dude because when it's in post 100 form, the boss is basically super ripped. Like I said, his suit is ripped, his tie is still intact, and his face is just on fire. his entire body is basically like combusted.
Yeah, but
And
he's just
I made the
getting.
note that his face looks like it's like almost like comic Dormammu,
Yeah,
if you know what that looks like.
it just looks insanely crazy.
So
Like,
fucking sick.
but there's
Uh,
so much going
but
on in
yeah,
this episode that you just can't
yeah.
formulate the words to
Um,
express it. You
mhm.
have to watch it.
And it's just
It's
like how he sort of glossed over it, but I do like how Mob starts off in the fight. He doesn't want to hurt the boss, and he even starts shedding a tear for the boss because he doesn't want to hurt the boss. But after the boss hits post 100, he realizes you're too far gone. I'm gonna have to take you out.
yeah. And
And
he
but anyway,
like he formulates this crazy barrier around the
yeah,
boss, but Mob
yeah,
decides to sit inside of it to
yeah. He
contain the fucking
mhm.
explosion.
And that's like what I like. This shows like how far Mob has come as well. Because Mob could have just like fucking like done something and ended it right there, but no, he his resolve is so strong that he's like, I'm going to contain you here because you don't deserve to be alone.
Right. It's
And
crazy.
um, and he has this really nice moment with Mob, and Mob talks about how Mob gets to choose his, because basically the whole boss's philosophy is the boss has chosen his own destiny
Yeah.
and has thinks his path is predetermined, but Mob tells him no, you choose your own destiny, and I don't want to leave you suffer. And this causes the boss to start having flashbacks to his wife, whom he just did, like she tried talking him out of it so many times, but he just never listened to him. And Mob is trying. Basically, Mob's whole thing is he wants to try to absorb it so that the boss can try to make amends for what he's done.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking like powerful. Like, this kid is literally about to try to sacrifice himself just so he can try to give this man who probably doesn't deserve a second chance. Like he tries to give him a second chance. And the build up, it builds up to this. It's so fucking powerful that it fucking forms a damn mushroom cloud.
It does. And this mushroom cloud looks really,
It's so
really nice. Like,
it's so nice.
it looks so pretty. Like the graphics version of
Hmm.
this, just this huge explosion. But
Hmm.
he exploded.
Um, there wasn't anything else you want to talk about regarding this fight, right?
No, no, you covered it. You covered.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't cut you off
The
at
only
anything that
things
you're
I
trying to.
wanted to mention was the chaos meatball and
Yeah, the
the
chaos meatball.
um the chaos meatball and then the contorting of the body. Um,
Yeah, we're back.
we're back.
Sorry about that. Red had to take a quick call, and so we're just gonna wrap up the ending of Mob Psycho 100 season 2. Um, so Mob survives, but is fucking just super buried,
Yeah,
and it
he's
turns out that this explosion has caused some changes.
yeah.
Um,
Some pretty
and
wild changes.
some pretty pretty fucking wild changes.
So basically,
Um,
the explosion didn't kill either mob or the boss.
mhm.
And made a giant fucking broccoli.
Yeah, because Bob had this broccoli seeds in his pocket
So the
the
mushroom cloud
entire
that you saw
season.
was nothing but a really big formation of broccoli.
And must I say, the fucking season 1 opening spoiled that shit, but we didn't know it was a spoiler because at that point it was just a random cool image.
It really did. Like, so, but
um,
no. So basically, at the end of it, the boss man goes to jail. But he starts to reflect on what he did and who he
mhm.
is now, and
Yeah.
he
Show mentions
he still talks to
how
his mother.
basically how he still talks to his mom, and the mom still asks about the boss, which is pretty good. I mean, it shows that the bridge hasn't fully been burnt, and that there's a chance that he could right some wrongs with his past relationships.
Right.
Um, but yeah, uh, let's see what else. So the kids have decided to leave the Awakening lab as well. Um,
Yeah, they
and then
decide
they're at this
to.
interesting.
They do decide to quit the stop doing the little test things to try to get the man to figure out how to absorb their psychic powers and create himself being psychic. They decided to stop that program,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Um, the scars have been healed. They don't have their scars anymore,
Yeah, like
which is
everybody is
really
super
cool.
healed. Like
Hmm.
nobody come out of there with a scratch on them. Mob has a very defining hole in his top left pocket of his
Yeah.
shirt. It's just a really big defining hole there. Um,
Hmm.
but
Dude, I want to talk about how the fucking Tomo Squad is so bros. Because when they first go to the schools to try to get Bob a change of clothes because his clothes are fucked. Back at the night after the fight,
yeah,
and the fucking Tomo Squad sees them. They first think they're intruders, but they're like, "Oh, you know what? You know this we could do a full program at my grandmother's house with a bed and everything else." And it's just
no,
really fucking great.
they were planning an all night training session
Yeah,
at their grandma's house after
at
all this shit that
grandmother's
they've
house.
been through.
Yeah, man.
And
Um, let's see. Clone Man wants to be Reagan's apprentice.
yeah, Clone Man decides to be Reagan's apprentice. Reagan ends
Yeah,
up, his office ends up being apparently a rat chewed some wiring and it lit it on fire instead of it
yeah,
being a
yeah,
psychic.
man. He got his insurance, baby.
Yeah,
The Reagan insurance arc has concluded.
but
um,
essentially, Mob did it again. Mob just comes in
yeah,
clutch.
and
Um,
Sarah and the thing I fucking love is Reagan has taken in Sarazawa, who basically he's taken in another mob
yeah,
almost.
pretty much, except Sarah, what's his name? Sarah,
Sarazawa.
Sarazawa is man, he's just one of those really nervous characters who doesn't
Yeah.
understand how to do anything at
Hmm.
all because he's always been a shut
Dude.
in.
Mm, and I'm excited to see what they do with this character in season 3.
Dude, I'm excited to see what they do in season 3. Like they're
Yeah.
talking about one scene having what now? Like 20,000.
20,000
Oh,
frames of animation.
that's insanity. But
Yeah.
either
He gets a
way,
new haircut, and basically things just sort of end off all nicely. Things have somewhat back to normal
yeah,
after
somewhat
shit got fucked.
somewhat back
In
to
some way,
normal.
there's a giant broccoli tree now, but that's about it.
That's about all that weirded out by now.
That's about it.
Nobody
It's become like a site.
suspects that Mob is, a really awesome fucking dude.
Yeah.
But essentially
But
that's
hey,
season
that's
2 of Mob
season
Psycho
two.
100. I'm
Yeah, and it's really good.
sorry about the abrupt ending. Just
And something came up,
something came up.
unfortunately.
I do apologize. So we did
Uh,
have to speed through the last little bit of this.
hmm
But
uh, anyways, what'd you think of season 2 of Mob Psycho 100?
probably the best. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's better than Jujutsu Kaisen, but it's a
Hmm.
very very close second. They're running a tide race right now. I think.
Hell yeah,
There
yeah.
it's
I'm about the same.
because it's good. It's really fucking good.
Hmm.
What about you?
Just about the same, really. It's close to one of my top series of all time. Like it's really good. A lot of good, strong emotional scenes mixed with high octane action.
Dude, that last fight
It's
of the
just
series was. I can't see how they're gonna top it. I just.
but somehow they are because it's shit's like looking like it's just gonna be even more insane.
I can't see how they're gonna top it. It's gonna be
Mhm.
crazy how they top it. But
So we'll find out in a few weeks.
We'll find out on the next episode of
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Ballsy.
Dragon,
They
dragon.
somehow did it.
But
But yeah. But anyways, that closes off Mob Psycho 100 season 2. For our next episode, we're going to cover Demon Slayer. We're going to go through the first season. Don't know about after the first. We're going to cover the anime version of the movie after it, but we'll figure that out as we get closer to the end of the first season.
yeah.
Other than that, if you liked what you heard, leave a comment, subscribe,
Leave a like.
tell us what you thought about the anime. If you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. And other than that, I'm Bobsto, the Yoda Weeb,
And I'm Red, the bald-headed wonder.
and you just got done watching the Anime Boys.
The Anime Boys. See ya.
See ya.